Hey, it's me again, and I'm running my mouth some more. Fred's over here somewhere, the producer. He's got to go on 12 years. I thought might be a good idea to talk about the difference between a reason and an excuse. Sometimes we don't understand the difference between that, and it's not helpful. You know, we all have stories. We all have a story. We have a lot of stories, but we live our story, as they say. Um, and many of us have had really hard stories and hard lives and hard childhoods. And I ran into a lot of people like that. A friend of mine said, "Don't you know anybody who's normal?" Uh, and I don't know what the word normal means to begin with. Um, everybody's everybody's got issues, and that's okay. You know, we're living life, we're experiencing things, and we have issues, and we're all going to respond differently to the circumstances that come up in our lives. Because some of us are older spirits, some of us are really old. Up there goes the producer. Um, and we're working on different issues. And that's what we come into this dimension for, is to experience life. And you're going to make mistakes. Believe me, you're going to make mistakes. But they're only mistakes if you don't learn from them. Then it's experience. Okay, remember that. But because we had um, traumas in our childhoods or traumas in our adult lives, that is a reason for why we act the way that we act or behave the way that we behave. Uh, but it's not an excuse to use to hurt other people or to not do the best that you can possibly do under that situation. No. Many of us, as I say, came from childhood where we were had crazy parents. They were unstable, uh, certifiable, and we didn't learn many things of how to communicate, how to love, how to say I love you, uh, and that's the reason that we are the way we are. But when it comes to other people that are interacting with us, that's not an excuse to give those people, or at least try to give those people who love and care about us things that they need. A psychic said to me, a couple, maybe it was summertime, uh, one of my adopted kids and I were out at the, all these people adopt me. Um, we were out at a winery and there's two psychics here. And, when I go to a psychic, the only thing I ever ask is, tell me what they want me to know. I don't know what I don't know. And so she said, they're telling me to tell you that you need to give people what they need, not just what you want to give them. That really, really struck home. I thought about that and I thought about that for a long time. And I'm still thinking about that and I'm still working on that. And I realized that because of my own stories, that I had not always given, to my family and my friends, my loved ones, what they needed. I gave them what I wanted to give them. Mm-hmm. Now, that can cause some serious damage. Serious damage. And if we come from families that couldn't support each other, where we were not loved, or I don't remember my father ever saying to me, I love you. Never. Yeah. That can cause a lot of damage. And there's a lot of people out there like him. And that's a reason for some of the behavior that I've had. But it's not an excuse for my behavior. I have to change my behavior. And I'm working on it. And I hope you will look at that also. I can, when you know the why, I've always wanted to know the why for everything. And I realize that that's part of my protection. That's how I protect myself. Because if I can understand why somebody does something that's hurtful, then it doesn't hurt me so much. Actually, it's part of control, that I can control it. So everybody wants to control their pain, but you can't avoid pain. Life is painful. Pain is just a message that's coming to us, be it physical, mental, or emotional, and it's saying something needs to be changed, something needs to be done. I need your attention. Pain is your unconscious, your body's way of saying, I need attention. And that's what you need to give it. If you've got pain, something needs your attention. So when I look at somebody else and they have do something, and it hurts me, I look at it and I can say, okay, this is their story. This is the reason they do what they do. And I can still feel okay about them. I can still love them. But that doesn't give them an excuse for their hurtful behavior either. And this is a problem that many of us have who are empaths or are very sensitive people, that we sometimes don't know when to stop making excuses for other people's behavior. The goal is to learn to have boundaries. The goal is to learn to negotiate, because your story is going to conflict with my story. And so often the people that we attract into our lives are people who are going to help us work on those issues that we have, to stop being, overly sensitive. You fall in love with somebody who's got a sharp tongue. And so that's part of the reason that opposites attract, I think, is because we made some old soul agreements that help me with that. And so it's an old soulmate that comes in and will help you, even if it's the hard way. Well, what does an occupational therapist do? Or a rehab therapist? And they're going to push you. They're going to push you to your limit, because they know if you're a crutch, you're not going to get any better. You only use crutches as a minimum. Well, sometimes you have to carry a crutch forever, but I'm not talking about that, so let's not go to extremes. But a rehab therapist will never do anything for you that you can do for yourself, because they know that they will cripple you. I learned from my friends. I have friends that are rehab therapists. Great people. God, I don't have, I wish I had the patience that they had. Marvelous, marvelous people. A blessing for all of us, those people who do that kind of work. And so often, the people that come into our lives, we have to find that boundary between the difference between knowing when it's a reason and an excuse. Sometimes you excuse people's behavior, but if it's unintentional when someone hurts us, then we can excuse that behavior. We understand that person has PTSD. They have an issue with that. And you can excuse it to a degree, but only so long, if it hurts you. If their behavior is hurting you and it's intentional, no matter what their story is, that's not acceptable. And we have to help them by putting that boundary down and saying, as nicely and as kindly as we can, I can't accept this behavior because it's hurting me. You don't blame them. You're not putting blame. You're not guilting. You're not shaming. It's just that I'm not going to accept this. You do it without emotion. You can. You're neutral. But what we usually do is we trigger each other, and then we go into attack mode. And I'm good at it. I'm good at it. Not proud of that, but I can do that really good. So think about yourself, about if you've had disagreements and arguments with people that you love and you care about. Think about, am I using my story as an excuse not to deal with my own fears and change my behavior? Yes, it is a reason. And you don't beat yourself up overly with that, okay? You don't beat yourself up. But just because, grandma was mean, doesn't mean that it's okay for you to be mean and not to be sensitive to other people's needs and what they need. We all have to give, not just take. We can't use people. And we can't use our stories and our traumas as an excuse to get rid of our own pain by putting it on them. We do that a lot. And right now, with the situation where everything is in the world, it's got to stop with us. That's the only thing we got any control over. The only person I've got any control over is me. The only person you have any control over is you. If you want the world to change, then you need to be the change. You need to live the change. I think Gandhi said something like that. You need to live the change. Got to get some more love in this world. And you don't have to be perfect. You need to stop the perfection. Nobody's perfect. And we're going to make mistakes. We'll make mistakes. So you don't guilt, you don't shame. You understand that this is a reason that I do what I do. I know why I do what I do. Because you have to be honest with yourself. You cannot change anything unless you're willing to accept your part of the responsibility. Then you can change things. And if life is going great for you, well, then fine, you're doing something right. But most of the people I know, life is, could use a little improvement. I could. How about yours? Think about it. There aren't any excuses. Only temporary. Oh, okay. Once in a while. Yeah, you're in a car accident, you got a concussion, and you're acting like an insane person. Yes, you excuse that you're excused. That's an excuse. Okay, well, you can excuse that. You don't. Excuses are few and far between. Few and far between. And somebody else excuses you. You can't excuse yourself. Not very often. Because you had control of yourself. Unless you physically, absolutely don't have control. Probably didn't want to hear that. I always tell people things they don't want to hear. Okay, let's have that. All right. So talking to you again. I always like talking. Talking to myself, talk. Okay, bye.